So I'll post a link in the description below of this X post, but um, the president of Mexico has reversed her position with regarding to the deportation of illegal aliens. Originally, Donald Trump said that he was going to use Mexico as a deportation hub for the illegals that are mainly coming across the southern border. Many of them are also being flown in and are coming across the northern border, by the way. I think a lot of you probably already know that, but as you know, a lot of them are coming across, they're just walking across the southern border. And Trump threatened Mexico with tariffs. You know, if you don't reverse your position on this issue, if you allow these migrants to just waltz across the border to the north, that we're going to impose tariffs. You got to remember that the NAFTA agreements were renegotiated under Trump's first term. So the terms of the deal are advantageous to a president that is willing to exercise that kind of power. Now, this goes to show you a number of things. First of all, Biden always had the ability to stop these migrants. You know, they're talking about how this is Congress's fault. And there's some blame there, but you know the Biden administration could have always done that. They could have always threatened tariffs on Mexico to stop the migrants. You know, it's not that difficult. The United States is in a position where we determine a lot of what is going on economically in Mexico because Mexico's economy, a big chunk of it faces the United States for its exports, for getting raw materials. So a lot of raw materials come from Canada, come from the United States, petroleum, for example, and that gets sent to Mexico. Mexico does a lot of low-end manufacturing and some mid-level manufacturing and sends those products northward to the United States. The United States, hypothetically, there are other cheap sources of labor. Mexico is great because it's right next door. But there's Vietnam, there's the Philippines, there's Indonesia, there's Malaysia, etc. So Mexico economically needs the United States more than the United States needs Mexico. That being said, Mexico is a fantastic trading partner. Now, this actually brings up another thing, and that is the best way to promote American values. I say freedom, individualism, free market capitalism, etc., which is what the United States traditionally stands for. It's the best way to promote that is not by bombs and bullets, although there might be some cases where that might be the case. It might be under a defensive situation like you had in World War II, where you had Japan and Germany expanding, and there were plans of the hardliners of Germany and Japan where they're actually talking about invading the United States. But that aside, a very potent way to promote freedom all over the world is the United States itself being a free country. The United States is a free country. We have an advantageous trade relationship because we're the largest economy, and through that leveraging, we can promote freedom that way. You know, if Trump can have that kind of an impact on Mexico to just reverse their policy like this, and he's not even president yet, imagine what could happen if you use the negotiating power that the United States has. Now, obviously, some countries will adapt to U.S. demands quicker than others. Mexico and Canada, obviously, because they border the United States. But, I mean, you got countries like Saudi Arabia, for example. You got countries like South Korea as another example, where they're not exactly the freest countries, but they heavily depend on the United States. These countries can be a lot more freer and a lot more prosperous. You can remove the corruption, these people, and then that, of course, then leads to more examples around the world that freedom works and is prosperous, and that other countries might get the idea to adopt that kind of thing: individualism, free market capitalism, etc. So I'm going to put a link in the description below. And I mean, again, this just goes to show you that all this suffering, you know, the millions of illegals that cross the border, the southern border, was 100% unnecessary, totally unnecessary. Maybe I shouldn't say 100%. We'll say 90+% unnecessary, and of course those that do come across could have been deported. But anyway, that's what I have to say about that.